not considered globally important, but the biggest contributor to employment locally. What am I talking about? SMEs, of course. With me in the studio right now to discuss this and some other advantages is Claude Cellich. Claude, welcome back to the studio.
Thank you.
Now you're joining us from IUN. And what, from your point of view, why would you say that SMEs are so important?
Well, there are a number of reasons. One is that we don't talk about it. We talk about multinationals all the time, and yet the SMEs are a provider of employment. For example, in the OECD member countries, 95% of enterprises are SMEs, and they provide 67% of private employment and private development sector. In Asia Pacific, 95% of companies are SMEs, and they provide 80% of jobs. So you could see where the importance of SMEs in the economic development
Indeed.
of the country. Yeah.
Now, if you think about enterprises, and obviously exports is a hugely influential to the success of them, but where should they export to? Okay.
There's a tendency by SMEs to look at the biggest markets because they account for a huge share of world GDP. It says that about 20 to 30 countries account for 90% of the world GDP. That's probably North America, part of Western Europe, China and Japan and so on. But these countries, the competition is very severe. And for an SME, unless it has a comparative advantage or it has a unique product or service, they may consider other markets. For example, in Asia, some countries, their development is in 2 digits compared to Europe. So I think those markets are really increasing, and SME should look at those markets as well, where competition is less severe and opportunities are great.
Opportunity is key. Now, how to remain competitive? Like, what has to change or what has changed in order for them to still really set themselves apart from the rest?
Right. Surveys have shown that lately, in the last 10, 15 years, business as usual is no longer relevant. What the surveys have shown that buyers are looking for what is called a total response capacity, which means a company can no longer compete on price alone. It has to be quality, it has to have flexibility in its production, it's got to have reliable delivery, and another interesting aspect is internet. More and more companies are doing business now via internet, and surveys have shown that when people deal on internet, they use harsh language more than they would person to person, and therefore they use words that are either have a different meaning or more than one meaning, or they use harsh words which can delay or derail relationships. So total response capacity is what companies are looking for when buying from overseas. Quality, price has to be competitive, flexibility in production, good e-communication, and good transportation facilities, quick delivery, and finally, I think they want companies to go in exports for long term, not just one-time transaction.
Really making sure that the market is penetrated, but perhaps you could tell us some examples of successful people who are getting it right.
I can think of several companies. One example is from Australia. A small company developed some electronic device for those having heart disease, and because it was a unique product, they were able to penetrate the U.S. market. But again, a unique product. If you have a product that everybody else produces, it will be very difficult. So again, the best way is to have a unique product at a niche market.
Okay, well, it's a really interesting topic. Claude, thank you so much for coming in today and sharing your insights with us, and we look forward to seeing you hopefully in the not too distant future as well. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, well that's all from Claude and myself for the moment, but Dukascopy TV has many more exclusive interviews coming your way, so make sure you keep clicking back. Goodbye for now.